Hey, so today I'm going to be sharing with you all a huge stack of old artwork from around 2013 to 2017. So first off, we have this small little sketchbook with a few doodles in them. I know I made some videos of old art before, but I ended up deleting them. There's like 10 of you subscribed to me, and honestly, I think that even that is crazy because 10 whole people wanted to watch me ramble watch me ramble over my old artwork. Thank you for that, by the way. So when I was first starting out, I exclusively used printer paper and lined paper from like notebooks and stuff because I didn't have actual sketchbooks, and I obviously wasn't as invested in art as I am now. And my art style is also super anime because that's the stuff I was watching at the time. A whole bunch of anime, way more anime than I watched nowadays. So these characters were actually, I think, the very first OCs I ever made, and there's a little bit more on them later on. So back in 2016, and honestly up until 2019, I'd say, I only drew girls. And the few times I did draw guys was when I was doing fan art or when I really wanted to test my luck, I guess, because they did not look good. But I'm happy to say now that I draw guys all the time, and honestly, I draw them more than girls. So in this sketchbook, I remember it's the very first sketchbook I ever completely filled, and the only reason I was able to do that was because I would cut out drawings I had made on loose pieces of paper and then tape them in. So the age range in this sketchbook range from I said range a lot of times. Anyway, they go from ages, I believe 8 all the way to 11. I was really precious with all of the artwork I made, so that's the reason why I have so much of it. Even if it's like a stupid doodle or something, I would cut it out and tape it in, or like keep it in a portfolio. And yeah. Oh, and I remember these drawings. I drew them in class in 5th grade when I was like 11, and I painstakingly tried to color them in with gel pens, and obviously I didn't finish because that's just too much and a waste of ink. Fifth grade also marks the beginning of my weird cat girl and mermaid phase. So the reason I drew a lot of mermaids was because they don't have legs, so they were easier to draw. I have no idea why I drew the amount of cat girls that I did, but I enjoyed it and I had fun, so. Oh, so here is my cat girl obsession in play. Not one, but 2 cat girls for you guys. And I vaguely remember these rainbow-haired girls to be either humanized versions or just based off of Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony. I wasn't into My Little Pony. I really, really wasn't, but I thought that their designs were kind of cute. Here is another painstakingly colored drawing with gel pen. And another cat girl with a maid outfit. I was ahead of my time. From now on, you're gonna see a lot more completed drawings and stuff, because when I was 11, I decided that I wanted to take art seriously and make it a career when I was older. I don't feel that way anymore, but it was a nice goal to have when I was little. Around this time, I also spent a lot of time on developing a unique art style, which honestly, it's not that important because it'll come to you. I'm still in the stage of figuring out my art style, but I'm kind of just going with the flow. Here finally is Sayaka's debut. She was my very first official OC. Her name started off as Miku, but I ended up changing it to Sayaka later on. This anime Dragon Girl is actually my one and only Dungeons & Dragons character that I made when I was 11. Her name was Riku at the time. I changed it to Tyrus. I don't draw her anymore, but yeah, I'd love to play D&D again, but I don't know many people that would be interested in also playing or would be as invested as I would be. When I was little, I liked to make paper dolls or paper cutouts of my OCs. So in this little portfolio here, I have cutouts of my OCs. Sayaka, Mito, Kiki, I don't remember the last one's name, but here they all are. I used to laminate them with like Scotch tape or clear tape, and I'd make my own little artist trading cards by cutting out squares of paper. I don't use any of these OCs anymore, by the way. They're all old. I remember this puppy notebook particularly well. I don't know why. I think it's because the drawings in here were mostly finished and I really liked them, so it was my favorite out of all of 3 of the notebooks. And I drew my OCs in here a lot. And I don't know if you noticed, but up till now I hardly drew fan art whatsoever. All of the characters were just made up in my head. This notebook I also made OCs that were boys, and I couldn't draw boys, so I had to draw them as chibis all the time because they were easier for me to draw and get the anatomy okay for. So I remember I'd show my friends and they'd be like, bro, why are the dudes so short? And I'm like, no, they're not short, they're chibis. Like right here on the right side, you can see them stacked on top of each other. Now this is when I actually decided to put an effort in drawing things out of my comfort zone, like cars, sitting poses, and side profiles. Honestly, the side profiles, I wish I started practicing them sooner because I still have trouble with them. And this is when my Steven Universe phase started. I feel like, I don't know, the majority of the people I've met had a Steven Universe phase. Majority of the artists I've met had a Steven Universe phase. Oh, and that's a script for a comic that I made with me and my friend. I'll make a video about comics. I'll make a video about the comics I've made because I've made a lot of them and I'm still making a bunch of them. So they're usually really, really short and unfinished, but they're still fun to make and fun to look back on. Oh, and that was my attempt at being edgy. I remember that. I drew it at a Taco Bell. And this is when I discovered Vocaloid, so I drew my OC Sayaka as Hatsune Miku. Ah yes, here is the infamous Doodle Binder. I covered the inside part with sticky notes that I doodled on, and this is basically where I kept all of my loose drawings. So, yep. Here's some random stuff that I kept. I'm a hoarder. I don't know why I kept all of the drawings that I did, but oh well. I don't have the heart to get rid of them now at this point. In this stack of loose papers, you can already see a cat girl, so you know it's gonna be good. I drew a lot of like baggy sweaters back then, and honestly, yeah, I still draw baggy sweaters because I think they're super cute and they're really fun to draw. That's when I designed the school uniform for the comic I made with my old OCs. And that is when I designed my robot OC. Her name is Kiki. I forgot the full name. But Kiki something, and she's basically an android character. I don't remember her story or if she even had one, but I don't know. I wanted to try something different. Oh, and that's like... I remember the ugliest drawing I ever made. It great though. I drew a lot of stuff for my friends, and I'd usually print out a copy of the drawings to keep for myself, so that I didn't have to feel bad when I gave it away, because you're listening to a hoarder here. So I have finally leveled up and got an actual sketchbook. So here's the first sketchbook I ever owned, and yeah, there was a lot of pages in it, and I didn't finish filling it out, but I tried my best. I also drew a boy, so that's promising for my future. Oh look, there's another one. Oh my gosh, I'm on a roll. I remember I was watching Teen Titans Go with my nephew, and there's this one character, her name was Rose, and I grew up on original Teen Titans, so I was like, I don't remember that character, but her design looks cool, so I'm gonna draw her. I remember that drawing. I drew it at a summer camp. There, happy camper, it says right there. And I tried to keep everything in as chronologically ordered as possible. Obviously, there's going to be a few things that are out of place because I did a lot of sketchbook hopping. So, yeah, but you get the idea. They're all around the same time, so. One of the things I regret the most out of my old art is probably the amount of wasted paper I had. Like, this sketchbook I got for free from a summer camp, and the paper is nice and thick and smooth for like colored pencils and stuff, but I only used one side of the page, as you can see, because I don't know what I had against the other half of the paper, but apparently it wasn't. I mean, occasionally I doodled something, but I never made anything worthwhile on the other side. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog snoring, by the way. She's really having a good sleep. And coming up now, we have some more loose papers. Around this time, I think I was either just about to turn 12 or I already was 12. And I remember this character really well. This is Emerald. She was very short-lived, but she was my Steven Universe OC. I think she was a part of the Crystal Gems, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I made her and Pearl be friends. And this time was also when I had first gotten my Copic markers. I started with the skin tone set, and then I got a pastel set, and I still use like the same exact markers, and here was me testing them out with some random doodles that I don't know why I kept, and I wasn't really into Ed's World, but my cousin liked it, so I drew the character Matt for him. And that's my Stardew Valley character. These 3 characters, I remember I made personas for me and 2 of my school friends. You probably saw before, but I drew a lot of Pokemon related drawings, and then I set them down on a table, and someone spilt water all over it, and I was really sad because I liked all of those drawings, but they all had water damage, and so I think I traced the humanized superior drawing so that I could have like line art that wasn't messed up from water. Around this time was also when I wanted to make an animation channel. Like, this is when they were all popping up, I believe. So I made a new art style that I could easily draw myself in, and I designed my little character, but I went absolutely nowhere with it. And honestly, I'm glad that I did, because if I had actually made that channel, I don't know what I would have. God, it'd be so embarrassing. There's lots of side profile practice in this sketchbook. Well, I wouldn't say lots of, but for me, this was a lot. And I'm very glad that I ended up practicing that more, because I really needed it. Now, here's when I first designed my Steven Universe OC Emerald. I drew a lot of Steven Universe related stuff, and I remember I used to have the songs on repeat from YouTube playlists and stuff like that. Now, 2016 was the year that I discovered Inktober. It was also the year where I discovered a lot of art, like the whole art community on social media and stuff in general. By the way, I hope that this video isn't too rambly or long for anybody. I'm kind of making it to my preference because I usually play long sketchbook tours or old art showings in the background while I draw and do stuff like that. So yeah, I usually like having people do voiceovers or talk throughout their showcasing. So I hope you can, like, I don't know, set this up in the background and listen to my voice. I don't know. And now at this point, we've officially reached 2017. I remember this year I did a lot of experimenting with my art style, and I'd be going into middle school soon, so I remember being like really self-conscious about my anime art when I was in middle school and about the fact that I liked anime. So I forced myself to change my art style, and I'll get into that if I do a part 2 to this. And now we're finishing off looking through the very first sketchbook I ever had. 2017 also marks the year where my Undertale phase happened. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Frisk from now on, I think. And sometimes when I get bored, I like to go straight into my old sketchbooks and do redraws of them. So here's a redraw I did pretty recently of the drawing on the right. So that was kind of random, but there you are. Bonus redraw for you. Okay, so I know what you're thinking, but no, I'm not a furry. I drew that before I knew what furries were. So I saw a lot of animation memes on YouTube where the characters were furries, and I'm like, oh, those look kind of cute. I want to make a character like that. But I drew her, I think, one more time and then never drew her again. So, oh, and this is a storyboard for an Undertale Animatic. It was a parody to the Sans song that I heard, and you know, when I was younger, I was also big into arts and crafts, so I made this mini binder, I called it, like little sketchbook out of, I forgot what they're called, note cards. I made it out of note cards and cardboard, and I just did little drawings on them. And this drawing is fan art for a webtoon that I used to read by a very, very young artist because, oh, this is the start of my Overwatch face, by the way. Anyway, I have a tendency to purposely look for small creators because I really like watching their audiences grow and watching them as an artist grow. this last stack of papers, we've reached just about the end of the video. To all of you who watched the entire thing, thank you so much. And to my very few subscribers, I really appreciate your support. And I hope that you like my videos. I'll probably be making a part 2 to this when I'm bored. I'm not sure when, but I will, hopefully. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you I'll see you next time. Bye.